Greetings, welcome to the Mystic Radar. While we're still on the topic of Earth School, I wanted to discuss the indoctrination of Earth School, the loss of spirituality. In our world today, we live in a world where a lot of us don't even know what the real truth is anymore, because there's so much fake news. There's so much fake news that they're putting out there, and the only reason why they're putting fake news out there is because they want to hide their lies amongst the fake news. Also, it's a perfect diversion for the powers that be to do things and then kind of watch and see whether you're kind of watching them, whether you know what's going on or not, and then feed you another lie down the line to, kind of take you way off topic, so you never really know what's going on. Well, there has been a tremendous indoctrination of Earth School. This place has become a lot more evil, let me tell you, and only because it's now a case of complete and utter deception. And deception is, in itself, is very, very evil. Not allowing the truth to surface, not allowing things to be known that should be known to the public, and so on. Should not be hidden and should not be secret. There should be no need for secrets. So, the world that we know at the moment, and the Earth School, is actually, under peril, under spiritual attack, you could say. Very much so. The dark forces are closing in. There's spiritual warfare going on. It's serious stuff. But it's happening in other dimensions, as well as playing out in our own, in the third. There are things that are happening in other dimensions to settle the score. One thing I wanted to touch on as well is, in our society, it's not just the politicians, it's not just the people who say that they run the world. It's not just them that are in the wrong, it's the general population. You're all living a life, and you're all really imitating the way these people run the world. So in families or in job structures, there's a little president there at the top, and he bullies everyone along down the line. And so this goes on from businesses to actual relationships to families to whatever. So it's not just the politicians or the people who say they're in power. It's not just them that are in the wrong and them that are vibing low. It's a lot of people as well that are vibing tremendously low, not learning their karmic lessons, not learning what they need to. And this is why we live in a world that is so, how can I say, if you are different, if you are a spiritual person, you might get frowned upon or laughed in Western culture, especially. In the Eastern cultures, they are used to that. They know that certain individuals have callings, and so that person has a calling and they respect that. Whereas in the West, if you are a chosen one and you are, emerging, you will face huge, doubt, self-doubt, because people will put you there. So, and this is all because the wicked is working. The wicked, the hell's minions are working. They're working the surface, and they're trying to really get as many people on their side as possible to go against good and decent and honest men and women on this planet, so that they can take control. And I did explain to you what this is about. This is an energy that went up against God and went up against God's creation. The energy was told never to come here and tamper with the human race, and the energy did. And that energy is represented by a snake, a reptile. So it's a reptilian energy that star-seeded with us, that gave us that other side of us that is, that animal side. But we're talking now, it's a reptilian side, it's a cruel side. Do you understand? Whereas the other star beings that were sent later on, the divine sent other beings here to star-seed with us, and they rectified that problem so that we weren't overly aggressive. Because what happened when the Nephilim came to earth, they started having sex with our women, and of course genetically modifying as well, so playing where they shouldn't have been playing. And this went on for a while, and that's why God called on Noah, and Noah was then sent and told by forces that are beyond, these are extraterrestrial forces, that warned Noah of the impending floods to actually wipe out the Nephilim, and wipe out the offspring that they had with the sons and daughters of the earth. So this interference with us gave us this dark side. So now the divine had to restructure, and now he had an enemy. So, but he played it in the divine favor, because if it wasn't for these evil beings going up against us, we wouldn't be able to actually learn and advance. So, rightfully so, if you don't learn and you don't get it right on the earth, which is the school, then you do not elevate, you do not graduate, you do not go further. You are indeed either trapped in hell, trapped in purgatory, or living another life until you get it right. And unfortunately, there are loads and loads and loads of demonic forces that exist on this planet at this time, because this is the time when we are going to elevate. It's going to be a mass elevation, and we're going to see far more extraterrestrial activity, because they are monitoring us. These are the good ETs. They are monitoring us because of our nuclear program, because of what the world's nuclear program looks like at the moment. It looks like these guys are hungry to press the button and blow us to pieces. The problem is that they're not only destroying this dimension, but it is interfering with other dimensions. Do you understand? Because it is splitting an atom. It's now playing with science and playing where you shouldn't be playing. So, you've got to understand that Earth School has been indoctrinated. It has been completely, the meaning of life is just live, work, die, and earn lots of money. And you're only a success if you've earned a lot of money. What a biggest load of dribble. Because the Holy Grail, the true existence of wealth, is spiritual wealth that exists inside of you. It exists inside of you. That is where the Holy Grail lies, within your soul. And this is what these evil people who run our world and bully us and treat us like slaves, they are merely low vibrational because they have allowed themselves. They're not spiritually in tune, for one. So they're failing miserably in the Earth School. They can't protect themselves, too, because they don't know how. They don't believe in spirituality. They think it's a load of drivel. They think that Lucifer is the bringer of light. Well, what a load of nonsense. really, in Latin perhaps, in a Latin language. And who were the Latin people? They were the Romans, and they weren't living in a very kosher society in those days. They were cruel, they were barbaric, and look what happened to them. They destroyed themselves, basically. They each went against one another, and so the whole thing broke down. So you must understand that there is mass indoctrination of Earth School. You have to sift through all the rubbish in life, sift through all the rubbish that you read, that you hear about, that's on the news. You've got to sift through it all and decipher what's good for you and what you believe in. And one thing I can say is, don't ever believe the nonsense that powers that be feed to you. Don't ever believe the nonsense. Question it. You're allowed to question it. It is your life. And you're allowed to question why things are the way they are and why things don't work like that. Do you know? I mean, I was a young man drafted into the military at the age of 17, 18, straight out of boarding school, into the military to do 2 years national service for apartheid, which I never believed in, but it was either that or 4 years in prison. And it just goes to show how much control they actually have on you. And that is never a good thing. So I'm not saying to be anti-establishment, because that's not what I'm saying. We need a peaceful world, and because we have crazies in it, we need law and we need justice. But now more than ever, we need law to work for people, not work against people. Do you understand? These types of laws past war and terror, war and drugs. This is war, war, war. Man's infatuation, war. Man's infatuation with hurting others instead of helping, instead of making a beautiful world right in front of the divine. You just do it. Why do you think we don't have one leader in this entire planet that has ever done it right? It's because they are all linked to an underground establishment that rules the world, and they're not allowed to do whatever they want. They're not allowed to allow their country to be suddenly legalized cannabis, or we're going to suddenly do this one massive big move, and without the powers that control the world saying yay or nay. Do you understand? So when you understand this, and when you turn to the divine and you realize that yes, this is a school, that Anthony's teaching me something here. This is a school we're living in. And worry not about them that live their lives shockingly and appallingly. Worry not about people who do black magic on a daily basis. Now, black magic, I want to discuss this with you, because black magic can be people getting together and just talking behind someone's back. That's black magic. Black magic is inciting the crowd. That's black magic, believe it or not. You don't have to burn black candles and do all kinds of nasty shit. People do it on a regular basis every single day of their lives, and they don't realize how wicked they become in the end. So beware of people like that. Beware of low vibrational people. Be careful of the people you hang around with, the people that you call your best friend, or whatever it is, you know. Just be careful out there, because there is darkness. We're living in a time now where it's a cesspit. The earth is literally engaged in this battle, and it's a spiritual battle going on. Many of us have been called to fight the battle. Many of us have been called, but few have been chosen. And that's why the number sticks at 144,000, which is a very, very, very minuscule number if you think about how many people actually are alive on this planet right now. And the reason that there are so many people living on the planet right now is because we're all the souls that have lived throughout the last 12 ages. 12 ages of man. These ages are being judged. And so the souls that lived in these throughout those times are now facing judgment. Only now. So it's a huge process, and the divine has given people time to make it right. It's a long, long time. And the earth has a history. It has a huge history, and that history has been buried under lies. It's been buried. It's been degraded. You're crazy if you believe in UFOs or extraterrestrials. Yet they exist. They're here. They've been here for a while, since the 1940s. Even before then, they've come to, they've shown themselves way back in time. But it's all been worked out so that it works perfectly, because in the school you have free will, and you have evil and you have good. So you decide. You're given the tools, you decide. You can either be compassionate, kind, loving, respectful of others, or you can be hurtful, hateful. You can seek revenge. You can cheat on others. You can watch people starve while you have so much money. You can drive in your big car and look at people and think, look at what I have and look what you have. You can be like that if you like, but it's not going to get you anywhere in the end. In the end, you will have to face the sins, and you'll have to face where you end up in the end. That is the thing. That is the pivotal question we all ask. What happens to us when we die? Well, it all depends on how you lived. Anyway, so let's not forget about black magic now, what black magic is. Black magic comes in all guises. It can be done in sex magic as well. There's sex magic. People do awful things while they're having sex. They might think of a person while they're doing that. They might spitefully sleep with somebody else just to cause trouble with another. That's sex magic. There's lots of other different magic that exists, and all that really is dark magic, where you're getting a kick out of being nasty to somebody. So be careful. It's not wise to engage with people who skinner about others, to engage in people who are kind of low vibrational. So be careful of yourselves, because make sure you do your cleansing, you burn your sage, you have your daily mantras that you do to clean your space and your aura, and make sure that you also spend time alone, because time alone is necessary. After a while, you start to enjoy the silence. Not that I don't talk to myself, because I do, but you enjoy that serenity that you have, and that gives you a chance to breathe and think, think about things. So until we meet again, till we do all of this again and talk some more. So our next time we're gonna talk about guardian angels, and deceased loved ones, and even deceased loved ones who have passed over, are given a chance by the divine. Not everyone goes to hell. Not everyone goes to purgatory. People, are chosen, even though their lives might have been not so great, didn't really get it right, but the divine will allow those individuals to be your guardians, and they will then have to focus on pulling someone that might have caused to do a certain thing or go on this way in life. They are then chosen by the divine. Now it's retribution for themselves to steer the individual onto a better path through guidance, spiritual guidance. So there's you are called where you need to be called, and the spiritual work that you do Many times it's not even seen. It's just you and the divine. But yeah, we'll talk about guardian angels next time. But you have a pleasant evening. Love and light. Namaste. Good night.